Today we have a watch on the channel that was lent in by one of my subscribers, Peter, a really nice guy, lent me 3 watches to check out. One of them is a DIRENZO. This is the DRZ03, a 200 meter dive watch that's very straightforward, has a pretty special dial. However, it kind of misses the mark a little bit for me. Let's check it out. So today we have DIRENZO on the channel. This is a brand that I've been aware of for quite some time. I like their dial setups. I think there is a little bit lacking in the dial. However, I really do like the dials on these watches. They came out with a recent model, which is the 05, the DRZ05, and I really like that dual crown setup that they've come out with. However, this is an earlier edition. This is the DIRENZO DRZ03. It's a 200 meter dive watch. I'm going to get right into it. So it comes in very nice packaging. The outer box is cardboard, but the inner box is really a roll, and it's made out of a canvas, has leather string. Very, very nice actually. One of the nicest that I've seen in a little while. It's a 3-slot watch roll. You get a lot of room in these slots as well. And then of course you're getting a watch, you get a NATO strap, you're getting 2 other straps here. I don't know if all of this is included, and then a warranty card. I believe that you only get 1 strap included. This might be a little bit extra that Peter actually bought for himself. I'm not sure of that, but if that's the case, I will put a comment down below in the comment section and pin that just so that we have the correct information. But here's the watch. So immediately, it's the dial that sort of struck me when I first saw these watches in person, when I first saw them online. It sort of looks like a JLC Polaris. I think that's what they were going for. You have that fume portion that's on the outer ring, and then you have a matte black center. Now, I wish the center of this dial was either textured and fume or both. I think that would have really completed the look of this watch. Maybe even make a pebble texture and do that on the ring on the outer portion as well. However, I think the setup of the dial is really nice. It's just a little bit lacking in the execution, but it does have sort of a curved area on that outer ring that acts as a chapter ring. That looks really good. When you see it, you don't notice it right away, but when you look closely at the dial, when I was doing some of the macro, it looks pretty awesome. And then, of course, you have applied indices, and those are in an old radium lume. Sort of goes well with this gray and black. And you have a little bit of red in the logo, the DIRENZO logo there at the 12 o'clock or just below the 12 o'clock. You have a black bezel insert. That is sapphire. You're getting the same colored lume as you do with the indices. That lume also carried over into the hands. The hands here, you have an arrow for the hour hand, and then you have a dagger for the minute hand, little lollipop on the second hand, all of that getting sort of an old radium lume color. You get a nice big sign crown with the DIRENZO logo. Undoing the buckle here, you have the DIRENZO logo again here. This has been worn, so obviously this is Peter's watch, as I mentioned, and he wears his watches, so he's worn this pretty well. And then you have the DIRENZO logo on the back. It says designed by Sergio DIRENZO, I believe, is the owner of the brand, so says that back here. These are also limited. I think these were limited to around 500 pieces as well. Sapphire crystal bezel insert has pretty good action. Very nice, tight, and I don't have really that much pressure on here, but it does move back probably 2 positions when you do that. So it does move back, but it doesn't click back. So once you let go, it moves back to the position that it was in. So you can get this to line up, and it does line up pretty well. The only thing is there's a little bit of play in that bezel. Crown is very smooth, but this is the dateless version. It gets an SW200 elaborate grade inside. It does have a ghost date. So at this price point, I think a ghost date is probably not forgivable. So it's something that I would say is a ding against this watch. But again, considering if you like the look, there aren't many dive watches out there that they're sort of doing this with. However, they have recently released a DRZ05. This, I believe, is sold out already. I don't think you could even buy one of these. They did come out with a version, a later version, and that has a dual crown setup. And I think they made some adjustments to the dial as well. I'll throw a picture of that watch up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All in all, I think this is a good looking watch. The only thing about this is that it's sort of a generic bracelet on here. You have a oyster style bracelet. It is brushed. You have brushed sides. You have screwed links. Very generic buckle. This is a great buckle. Works really well. Sounds great. But again, just sort of a generic buckle. And again, at this price point, even though it's Swiss made, obviously this is sort of something that you get off the shelf. It's probably made in China and just fits this case. Now the case also not that remarkable when compared to some other brands doing something a little bit more original. This isn't a bad case, and this is not a bad bracelet, and it's not a bad buckle. It's just nothing that is a little bit creative or a little bit of its own. But again, it works really well. And the dial here, as I said, is really where it's at for this watch. And I do find a little bit of issue with the dial, but with that being said, I think a lot of people will find this very attractive. There is a ghost 8 position, and that's also something to keep in mind. Sapphire crystal in that bezel, I really love that, and it's sort of a thin bezel. That works well. So very quickly, let me throw it on my wrist so you guys can see what this looks like on my wrist. But before we do, I just want to do quick measurements. This is a 40 millimeter watch, and it measures in at around 40 millimeters. If you catch the case, it's at 40 millimeters. If you're catching the bezel, it's a little bit over 40 millimeters, so it's like 40.5 at that bezel. So that's what I get. And then the thickness on here, not too bad. Considering it's 200 meter dive watch, you have a sapphire crystal, 13.7 millimeters. And then the crown is on the larger side, as I mentioned, 6.9, so almost 7 millimeters, which is not bad. You do get male end links, but the male end links are pretty short on here, so it's not going to wear too big. And it's 47.2, but on the bracelet, 49.2. So it's not a large increase on the effective lug to lug. You do get solid end links, and those end links are quick release, so that's also good. You do get 6 positions of micro adjust, and that is manual micro adjust on this watch. Again, like I've said on many reviews, I would like to see a buckle upgrade to something with on the fly micro adjust. So that is a little bit of a sticking point that I have with a lot of brands these days. So very quickly, on my wrist today, I have the Mad 1 from Mad Editions, or MB&F, a watch that is assembled by MB&F, and just a really awesome watch. So there you go. Very quickly though, that is a review that I actually put up just a few days ago, or should be a few days ago by now. Here is the DIRENZO DRZ03 on my 7.5 inch wrist. And you can see it wears like a 40 millimeter watch. Nothing groundbreaking, but it's a very solid, very well made watch that's good for every day. And I think it's good looking and well made. There you go on my 7.5 inch wrist. Let's check out the lume, because obviously it is fully lumed, the dial is fully lumed, and then the hands and indices are lumed. So hopefully the lume is good on here. Let's check it out. So lume is decently applied. The hands are very bright. The bezel is fading quicker than the indices, so it's a little bit less liberally applied than the hands, obviously, and those indices. The primary indices are the brightest. Everything else fades pretty quickly. As you can see, it's already fading. Not bad, not great, considering the price. So they're originally asking for this watch $550. That actually is a very good price for this watch when it was originally on Kickstarter. So $550, you're getting a really beautiful watch, a very nice dial, a very interesting setup of that dial. Sort of a generic looking case and sort of generic looking bracelet, but it's a very straightforward watch and it's well made. So $550 definitely works. $750 is what they asked for this watch, and they did sell out, but $750 is what they were asking for this watch when it was available, not on the Kickstarter and through their store. And I think that's a lot of money. It's on the more expensive side. The dual crown is around $850. I'm not sure about that watch either. They've put more engineering into that watch. The case is a little bit different. You're also getting a beads of rice bracelet, so could be better. I think it gets the same buckle. At this price point, brands should be looking to give you on-the-fly micro adjust for these prices. A lot of brands are doing it for way less, and I think the brands like this, especially Swiss made, they should try and, you know, overachieve, put something a little bit nicer on that bracelet, put a nicer bracelet in general. Anyway, tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I don't think this is a bad watch. I think it's a very nice watch. I just think for the price, you could probably find something a little bit better at this price range. But at that $550 when it first came out, that's an excellent price for this watch. That's just my opinion. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. So you can see, Lume all but faded, except for the hands, as I mentioned, and the primary indices are fading a little bit slower than the rest of the dial, but everything is pretty much gone. The bezel, pretty much nothing left, and it hasn't been that long. There you go. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.